All right, so what you're looking at is the VNSH holster, what we call the world's most comfortable holster. I'm going to talk about some of the myths that you may see populated about the VNSH holster. The first is that this is like every other belly band that you see on the market. That's simply not true. We've done a lot to make the VNSH holster really stand out from the belly bands that you're going to see on Amazon, all the things that you're going to see on other websites. Part of what we did here is overcome some of the biggest problems with a belly band holster. So your typical belly band holster is actually the same height all the way through, or the same width, right? Like it's going to be, if this was 3.5 inches, the whole entire belly band holster is going to be 3.5 inches. So that means you don't really have a lot to work with in terms of customization. You don't really have a lot to work with when it comes to comfort. So what we've done with this particular model is that on this side right here, this is your attachment side for your Velcro. It's 3.25 inches tall. And then over here, it's actually 3.5 inches tall. So what that does is when you wrap it around and you line it up, that gives you a little bit of rollover on the ends so that the VNSH holster's Velcro isn't digging into your belly. It isn't uncomfortable. And that's something a lot of other holsters don't have that are in this belly band configuration. Other things that we've done are just designed it with premium material. So what you see right here is 1000D Cordura. This is made by DuPont. That means that this is a patented and licensed technology that you can't just pick up off the shelf. You have to have special agreements in place in order to be able to manufacture with it, and that's what we've done here. 1000D Cordura is super, super comfortable. And it's super durable. That's really important because we designed this all for comfort. So you can take this particular model and beat the crap out of it, and it's going to stand up for years of abuse. And that's why we already honor it with a 2-year guarantee on workmanship. But past that, we think it's going to last you for 10 to 15, even 20 years. And the other thing that we did is here on the belt, it's a little bit of elastic. It's pretty tight. It's not super stretchy like some of the other ones that are made out of neoprene. They just blow out after probably 6 to 12 months, meaning you've got to buy a new one. And great, you got that original holster for 30 bucks, but what happens when you have to buy it every single year? That's not exactly ideal. So what we did is we designed it with 80% polyester and 20% spandex. These are premium materials that wick away sweat, that don't absorb odor, and that's going to help you out not only just in like daily carry, but it's going to last you a lot longer. Neoprene tends to degrade over time because of sweat and odor building up inside, and this material won't. And then of course, like comfort wise, what's up against your skin with the holster itself is a microfiber. So this also doesn't absorb odor. It does not take in a lot of sweat and feel nasty on you. And that is something that neoprene tends to do. Now I'm picking on neoprene here because that's what the vast majority of belly band holsters are made out of. They have even worse ones that are made out of mesh and just like crappy old nylon, and the VNSH holster is not that. If you look at any of the reviews on this product on our website, you'll see that a lot of people just love how comfortable it is. They love that it isn't sticky or sweaty. I mean, is it the perfect holster for every single person on the planet? No, but it's the perfect holster for people who have decided that traditional holsters like Kydex or leather don't work for them and they don't carry because of that. This is going to get you there. So in addition to that, we do have some other things about the VNSH holster that I want to talk about, some other misconceptions. And this is probably more true with this particular product than other belly bands. And that is that this thing really sucks when it comes to both retention and safety. So a lot of belly band holsters don't have a custom configured pocket like what we've done here. So with our pocket, you can see that there's a Velcro stitch, or there's Velcro stitched in right here. And then what happens is we've got this right here, the retention strap, that is adjustable inside of this Velcro patch. So you can move this up and down depending on the size of your gun. So this is why it works for full frame guns as well as for some of your micro compacts and all that kind of stuff. And the other thing is it does have a built-in trigger guard. So typically, belly band holsters don't have a trigger guard unless you're going to install one after. What we've done with this Velcro strap is that it blocks the trigger, right? So it is not entirely possible for any holster to prevent a negligent discharge. There's always a possibility for that. Doesn't matter what you're shooting with. If you're Kydex or leather or any variation thereof, there is a chance that you could ND. Now, what we've done is done our best to mitigate an ND happening from you carrying this all day long. And that has to do with this leather or this particular Velcro patch right here. Now, is it possible that you would ND? Yeah, if you're being careless and you don't really think about what you're doing while you're carrying, there is a possibility. And that, again, extends to every single holster out there. And, you know, with this particular retention right here, this is level 2. It breaks with your thumb. It's a magnet. I mean, it is entirely possible that if you tried to make this thing fall out by standing upside down on your head and jumping up and down and all that kind of stuff, your gun won't retain. This is not level 3 retention, but it is there to keep your gun in place if you're moving around. It can prevent somebody from pulling the gun away from you while it is in your holster. Another thing about belly band holsters that a lot of people want to pick on, and this is something we designed around, is that typically you can push a gun through most belly band holsters, because what they've done is they've just designed sidewalls that go straight up and down that allow any generic pistol to fit inside of there, and that, there's a big pocket. With the VNSH holster, what we've got here is a nice tight pocket. You can even see that it's double woven. That just gives it a little bit of rigidity. At the most, you're going to get about 3 inches of play here, whereas the top of the pocket is about 4.5 inches. So that means it's almost impossible for you to drive a pistol through the bottom of your holster. So again, when we talk about retention, we talk about keeping it in play. This is going to stay right on you, like no matter where you have it. You can't possibly push your gun through the belly band holster, which is something you're going to find in a lot of the inferior holsters out there. All right, so let's talk about your VNSH holster and going number 1 or number 2. Okay, so that's a big deal, regardless of what kind of holster you're using. If you're gonna carry, you gotta go to the bathroom. There's something over here that might get in the way. So like, I'm sitting here carrying it in an appendix. You can do cross draw, you can pull this thing up and move it over here. You can do 4 o'clock, smaller back. It doesn't really matter. The point is that you can carry in a bunch of different configurations, but when you go to the bathroom, you gotta do something with this. Now, typically, if you got a Kydex holster or some kind of a leather holster or just a generic holster that hooks onto a tactical belt, what happens when you go number 2 is you got to sit down, you got to drop trowel, and then all of a sudden your gun is just sitting there for everybody to see. It doesn't matter like if you try and do something like tucking your clothes over it, your gun is hanging out there. Or the other uncomfortable thing is that you've got to take your gun off and find a place to put it. I mean, hang it up on the coat rack inside of the stall, put it on top of the toilet paper dispenser. That really doesn't work all that well. I mean, it's a way to do it, but the cool thing about the VNSH holster, in my opinion, is that when you're going to the bathroom, you can just move it, right? So like if it's appendix carry, just move it over to the side. You can do that inside of a urinal pretty comfortably, and women don't have to worry about this, but us guys do. So just move it over to the side, do your business. Go ahead and move it back. I don't think anybody's gonna feel like you're messing with yourself if you're just fidgeting around, getting your pants tucked back in, or you're, getting your pants tucked in and doing that deal. If you've got to sit down and go to the bathroom, this is pretty cool. You don't have to take it off. You can just hike it right on up. Just have it right on your midsection while you're going to the bathroom, just sitting there on your phone, and then boom, you're done. What do you need to do? Pretty simple. Just stand up, reposition your holster however you had it, and walk away. You don't have to worry about taking the gun off with the VNSH holster. That's a pretty big deal. A lot of people don't take that kind of stuff into consideration. So that's why this type of belly band is extremely practical for day-to-day use. Now, when you're talking about getting inside of your car or walking around carrying it like that, the last thing you want to do is take your weapon off of you and then put it in the console or put it somewhere where you're not going to be able to access if you need it. Same kind of thing goes into play here. And again, like this is all going to be customizing it to your particular way of life, the way that you go about your day. But if you're going to sit, you can just pull, and it's appendix carry, you can just pull it up a little bit. Just have it ride up against the middle of your belly. So again, like just pull it up, go ahead and sit down in your car. Obviously I don't have a car here, we're outside, but you can just sit here and that's comfortable, right? Now, a lot of people don't like to carry appendix because when you're sitting like that, you do have the barrel of your pistol pointing right at your nether region. So if you're going to do something like 4 o'clock, I'll just shift it over here. Okay, seat it down. Okay, I'm gonna get my pants up. Okay, so that's pretty comfortable, but if I were to sit in a car, that's going to be right there on my back, right? So what can I do? Well, I can shift it over a little bit. I can also shift it to the front just while I'm driving, maybe over on the belly. Or, you can do a couple different other things that are just gonna make it work for you. Now, we are gonna come out with a product here in the next few weeks, if not in the next month, which is gonna be a magnetic holder that you can put into your car, where you can take your pistol out, put it in there while you're driving, and then when you're done, just take that pistol right off, reholster as you are exiting your car, and you're good to go. One thing that I did forget is on the safety of a holster when it comes to belly band holsters. So there is a complaint about belly band holsters being safe or unsafe to holster or to reholster, right? So the idea here is that if you're going to reholster a belly band, if it's Kydex or if it's leather or something like that, you have a nice, firm, rigid opening that you're able to just take your pistol out and seat it right back in there. You can do that pretty much one-handed. Now with a belly band holster, there are instances where you may need to use your second hand or your offhand in order to reholster. Now, let's talk about this. If you're ever forced to use your gun in a defensive situation, you don't have to reholster that gun. And ideally, you would keep your gun out for just a little bit longer while you maintain you assess the threat scenario that you're facing, and then maintain that you can reholster. It is safe to do so. Now, again, with the VNSH holster, this is a lot better than most other holsters. So with this particular product right here, so I have to rearrange it real quick, but so if I go to reholster, I do need to hold up the pocket just a little bit. Now, the thing that people complain about is that with this kind of a gun, or with this kind of a holster, excuse me, that you have two different ways of doing it. And let me just check this real fast. So we're clear, there is not a round in there and I'm not chambering one. But one thing that you have to do is push it in to get the holster in. So that means that the barrel of the gun is pointed at your body. That's not something you want. The other thing people complain about is, oh, well, you've got to use two hands. So what happens when you go to put it in? You're pointing the pistol barrel at your fingers. Well, that's not ideal either. So what you can do is just hold it open, point the gun away like that, and you can reholster. So again, it just takes practice. This is not the perfect holster for reholstering. This is the perfect holster for carrying every single day because it's so comfortable. You are going to make some compromises with that, but they're not deal breakers by any stretch of the imagination. Now, again, like, you want to be competent with your weapons, so you want to be competent with the gear that you're using. That's why I suggest carrying and then also practicing. So being at home, taking a few moments to practice putting your gun back into the holster. So again, it's just like, it's not that big of a deal just to figure out, how do I get this gun back into the holster? And then there you are. So safety, it's not that big of a concern with the VNSH holster, provided that, one, you are safe, and two, you understand how your equipment works and how you have set it up, and then you practice with it. All right, so another misconception about the VNSH holster in particular is that it absolutely sucks when it comes to reloading. People say that because what we do is we provide two on-side or like same side magazine pouches. So we've got one right here where I have a knife, and then we have one right here in the front. So the complaint is that if you're going to be in a firefight, you don't want to have your ammo on the opposite side of your body, right? You want to be able to just pull from here. So if I have my gun out, ideally what I would do, if I ever had to do a reload, I would drop and then reholster. Or excuse me, not reholster, I would reload. Now, let's just imagine that you are in a firefight and then this arm now is out of the fight. You get shot, you're not able to do anything with it. Well, how good is it to have something over on this side? The point is moot if you look at it that way. So again, this is all about comfort. That's why we designed the VNSH holster this way. We are going to come out with a support side magazine pouch, but when we talk about just being able to reload from over here, you know, it's as simple as just dropping your mag, changing, boom, just like that, right? So, and what about the one in the rear? So I have a knife in there, but it's pretty easy. Like, if I didn't have all these layers, you can just reach behind your back and reload. Same thing. So it's not so much that this is a bad design. This is just a design that works really well for people who want to keep everything on one side of their body, free up this side of their body. Now, if you want to carry extra, if you want to have two more magazines over here, by all means. The size of the belt will work with most MOLLE attached magazine pouches. So if you just want to shop on Amazon to get something right away, but we are coming out with our own model here in just a little bit. So that's something that I wanted to talk about. Having support side magazine pouches are not essential. It is not a deficit to your ability to defend yourself if you have a same side magazine pouch or two. And again, you get up to three when you have your magazine in your gun and then the two that you're able to carry with your VNSH holster. So that's really important to know as well. All right, so the other thing we want to talk about is what kind of guns that this is going to work with and what kind of modifications it's going to work with. Now, what you've got right here is a Springfield Hellcat with the Shield SMSC red dot. This holster works pretty well with that. So you watch me holster. I can get it in. Now, is it perfect? No, it's not the perfect fit. We did not make this holster to work perfectly with every single iteration of every single gun out there. And the truth of the matter is, most people don't carry a weapon-mounted light, and most people don't use red dots. Now, they are becoming more popular. We understand that. But the vast majority of people, probably you who are watching this, just use your standard firearm, whether it is a 1911 or a SIG or, you know, a Canic, whatever. So many different options out there, but most people aren't running weapon-mounted lights. they're not running red dots. So if you're the kind of person who has a red dot and a WML on your rig, it's probably not going to work. Now, doesn't mean that it won't. Like I've got this right here. If I were to have the Surefire XSC on here, it's probably going to fit inside of this. The biggest thing that you want to know is that, hey, does it work for my particular needs? You can buy it, try it out, and if it doesn't, we're going to take it back. You have a 60-day money-back guarantee there. We really want to make sure that you are able to carry comfortably. And if that means that it doesn't work with your particular setup, doesn't work with your red dot or your optic or whatever it is, just send it back. We would rather have you carry in a way that works as opposed to not carrying at all. That's what we're all about here. So that's another misconception, that it's not going to work with a red dot. It's not going to work with a weapon mounted light. It's just not, I can't guarantee that it's absolutely going to work with your red dot and your weapon mounted light. All right, so I hope I've cleared up some of the misconceptions about the VNSH holster. Again, I know this is not the perfect holster for every single person out there. If you are LEO and you're required to carry a weapon mounted light with your gun on duty, you're not going to be able to use this. Chances are your department wouldn't let you use it anyways. But if you're like I am, a guy who likes to wear pants without a belt, as you can see, who enjoys wearing basketball shorts most of the time during the summer, then this is going to be the ideal setup for you. Because like that's the thing, is in America we like to do what we like to do, and we like to be able to have products that work with our lifestyle, and the VNSH holster does do that. Now I invite you to check it out and see all of the reviews that we're collecting on this. I mean, we have almost 200 reviews at the time of me making this video, and since we started selling on the 6th of December, all of those reviews have come in. So it's almost 200 reviews with a 4.3 star rating. We're leaving up the negative reviews so you can see and make a judgment about whether or not this holster is right for you. But again, I want you to remember, 60-day money-back guarantee. We pay for your shipping back. You don't have to worry about anything. We make it as easy as possible for you to find out if this system works for you. 2-year workmanship guarantee on it as well. So if anything goes wrong with your VNSH holster, you were taken care of. We'll get you a free one. You can actually keep the one that you have, do whatever you want with it. Give it away to somebody, yada, yada, yada. I think you get the idea. Now, if you want one of these, all you have to do is click some of the links in this video. Now, you can go to our regular website, VNSH.com, VNSH.com, and you can find it for $129.97. But anything that we promote on social media, whether that is on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, on Rumble, doesn't really matter, is going to get you a discount. So that link is right beneath here. It's going to say shop.vnsh.com/something or other, and that's going to secure you a really good discount. It's also going to give you access to other gear that we have. Now again, I am just making this video so that you can see, like, if you have any doubts about whether or not the VNSH holster can work for you, I'm hoping I'm clearing them up. And I'll make more of these videos. I want to see your questions. I want to see what you guys are concerned about, how we can make this better. We are definitely going to make this product better, but it is already badass. You can tell by those reviews. And so if you get it today, I know you're going to be happy. And if you're not, I'm going to give you every single penny that you spent with us right back.